Hey everyone, I'm Steve.
And I'm Giancarlo, and this is a review of Habitat.
One day we'll eventually shoot in the studio and not Luca's Habitat.
Yeah, that'd be good, huh?
Yeah.
With this little green we got sheet that we
Look
got over
at
here.
this flamboyant My Little Pony over here.
That's definitely flamboyant.
It's coming to raid the KB toy stores or something like
I have
that.
a funny feeling this footage won't make it.
Absolutely.
Be cut out at the editing room. Out it goes.
Like a 13-year-old Jew. In Habitat, each player's goal is to be the first to have the most complex and diverse life in your portion of the woods. In the box, you'll find 123 playing cards consisting of animals, resources, and events. Here's how to set up the game. Give each player a random resource card. These are the rank 1 with purple title bar. Place the deck in the center of the table and draw 2 cards, placing them face up on the right side of the deck to form the draw display. On the top and left side of the deck, though empty now, these spaces will eventually become the event discard and starving pile respectively. You are now ready to populate.
Every round has 2 phases, the growth phase and the event phase. In the growth phase, all players act simultaneously. This is the phase where players can arrange cards from their hand or from the board into vertical stacks to create their food chains in their parts of the wood. To build food chains, players must place higher ranking cards, the number on the right hand side of the animal cards, on top of the lower ranked ones on the board. However, all diets and restrictions must be legal. Usually, with some exceptions, the colors of the animal's title bar will tell you what they can eat. Green colored title barred animals are foragers that only eat resources. Omnivores, the black title barred animals, can eat other omnivores, foragers, and resources. Carnivores, the red title barred animals, can only eat omnivores and foragers. Some cards also have the special text concerning who they can or can't eat, so always look at these as well. Another thing that needs to be looked at is the animal's realm, land, aquatic, or flying, shown by an icon on the bottom right of the animals. Both red, carnivores, and black, omnivores, must match at least one realm icon directly below them in the food chain. Players can only have a maximum of 5 food chains, which usually begins with a resource or a scavenger. Scavengers are identified by either the fishbone, aquatic scavengers, or the bull skull, land scavengers. As long as the top card of the starving pile is an animal, regardless of rank, scavengers can be the first card in a food chain. It is also at the end of the growth phase that players need to check to see if their animals have a food source directly under them, or in the starving pile for scavengers. Any animal that has no food source gets discarded in the starving pile face up at the right of the main deck. Once everyone is done doing their growth phase, each player takes their turn performing an event phase.
Here players have 2 options. Play an event card and or rescue an animal, or exert territoriality. Then he may rescue an animal. To do so, the player may rescue as many animals as possible, but can only start with the topmost animal in the starving display. To successfully rescue the animal, it must be placed following all legitimate rules of their diet, in one of the player's food chain. The other option is exert territoriality. The player can choose an animal from his hand and chooses an opponent's food chain they'd like to steal. To do this, they need to place an animal of higher rank than the topmost card in the opponent's food chain. If the animal played can eat the topmost card, it takes the food chain in its entirety and adds it to part of its woods or its playing area. If it can't, the player discards in order from top to down. The animals can't eat until it reaches something it can eat. Basically, this represents a higher predatory species, driving off the weaker ones to steal their food. Survival of the fittest, baby. But it can only do so if there is an animal there in the food chain that it can eat. At the end of their event phase, players draw 2 cards, either both from the main deck, both from the display pile, or 1 from each. Once that's done, they flip over the card from the main deck onto the display pile. When all players have finished playing their turn, a new growth phase begins and so on. First player to have ranks 1 to 8 in their part of the woods from their combining food chains wins.
Habitat is a fun little game. The cover makes it look like some ecologically friendly, nature-loving hippie game, which is ironic since it uses a much bigger box than needed for 123 cards. but it does appeal to a wider audience. It can be played by 2 players, but this game is a lot more fun played with 3 or 4. It's got a nice blend of luck and strategy, and it's actually fun seeing your forest expand and not so fun watching it get stolen from an opponent's bullying animal. We do feel here though at Bored to Death that even though the age suggestion says 8 plus, an average 8-year-old will have a hard time understanding this game. It is for an older audience, starting in the teens and up, we'd say. The rules are well written, but it could have used a bigger font in the rulebook and a little better explanations. But after a couple of games, we got the hang of it, and we were pleasantly surprised. We give Habitat the North Woods edition 7.5 alpha male animals out of 10.